Hello YouTube stackers, this is ST with Silver Stacking 101, where we always believe in staying stacked and packed. Stacked with silver, gold, food, ammo, and packed with the means necessary to defend our stat. Guys, I want to do a video about my thoughts on the overall direction of the silver market, what's going to be coming down the pike, and the metals market in general. Before I do that, let's do a review. Back on June 3rd, 2017, I published a video outlining my silver valuation model. The model was constructed for a normal, rational market, and we have enjoyed a normal, rational market since the time the video was published. After I published the video, I also published some more videos. By the way, the link to that video on June 3rd, 2017 is in the description to this video. On subsequent videos, I did real-time trades with silver ETFs. Now, I know a lot of people don't like ETFs. The argument is if you don't hold it, you don't own it. It doesn't represent real silver. I could care less because I was doing that to make a quick buck. I was looking for speed, liquidity, and low transaction cost. I could care less if it represented real silver, as long as the next guy that bought it from me thought it represented real silver. I wasn't going to hold it long enough to find out. I did that to show how the valuation model works, the importance of the valuation model, and the importance of knowing when the asset's on sale, when it's selling at a premium, so you could buy and sell accordingly. Back on November 9th, 2019, I did a 30-month review. Looked at my range my model gave me back on June 3rd, and turned out the model was hyper accurate. If we look at it through today, the model still appears to be accurate. Here's the rub. Going forward, the model will not be accurate. We are in anything but a rational, normal market. And keep in mind, the model assumes a rational, normal market. So we could take my model that I'm so proud of, that works so well, and throw it in the trash can. Even though today it appears valid, it's not. Going forward, the paradigms have completely changed. So what should silver trade at? We don't know. We can't mathematically deduce the range. Let me explain. Our COVID response has caused enormous damage to our economy. The amount of the damage cannot be measured for two reasons. Number one, the damage is still being inflicted on our economy, and we don't know when it's going to stop. The second issue is the most susceptible businesses to the damage are small businesses. Small businesses do not have the reporting requirements that larger publicly traded companies have. So the data is non-existent. If it's present, it's fragmented at best and somewhat unreliable. We cannot measure the amount of damage done today. Now, the markets are irrational. By the markets, I mean all our financial markets. If we go back and look, the Dow today is like at 24,000. With the amount of damage our economy sustained, and the Dow's at 24,000, that's irrational. So what's going to happen going forward in the future? Well, let's talk about it. Let's look at historical precedents. First, when the crash of 2008 happened, silver made an initial dive. Then investors looked for security, and silver rose dramatically. I believe, based on theory, not mathematics, because I can't do the mathematics. The data's not there to plug into a formula to say, yep, this is what should happen. The data doesn't exist. So now we are only operating on theory, not gut, but economic theory and historical precedent. The stock market, the equities market, which is important to the silver market, and I'll get to that in a second, will suffer a massive correction. It has to at some point. When would this correction happen? I believe it's going to happen in two different time periods. Number one, when the second quarter numbers come in July, and the amount of profit that's gone and the amount of losses incurred is finally realized, it's going to cause a reduction in the stock market, pretty massive sell-off. October, when Q3 numbers come in and investors realize this is not an isolated incident limited to our response, but it's the ripple effects from our response carrying over through diminished consumer sentiment. We're going to talk about that in a second. We should have a massive correction in October downwards. Money's going to go somewhere. It's going to look for stability. Historically, we know that metals markets offer stability to investors when equities markets become very chaotic. Now, a couple of things we're not factored in yet, but there's some troubling headlines today on CNBC. The first headline is, core consumer prices saw the largest monthly drop ever in April. Guys, we're talking about deflationary pressures. Businesses are going to feel the need to liquidate inventory, which will cause deflation. I might have said depression a while ago, deflation. So at this point, this is a horrible sign. I was not worried about deflation prior to the COVID response. There was no indication it was going to happen. But remember, all the paradigms have totally changed based on our COVID response. Anything that we were doing in February no longer applies. The second headline was U.S. grocery costs jump the most in 46 years, led by rising prices for meat and eggs. A big unknown at this point is how the consumer, because all economics come down to the end user, the end consumer. I mean, take a big company, Procter & Gamble. Think about all the billions involved. It all comes down to which laundry soap someone's buying and how much. Individuals. Now, what is consumer sentiment going to do with this information? My guess, and that's all we have right now, are guesses, and I hate to come on and say guess and suppose and theory, but it's all we got to work with. We don't have numbers to work with yet. My guess is consumer sentiment will drop through the floor and lead consumers to curtail their discretionary purchases, to try to hoard what cash they do have in order to survive what's coming down the pipe. Guys, all the signs are there. A few weeks ago, I did a video. I think we're going to enter a depression if this is not righted immediately. I still think that. As a matter of fact, we're about 3 weeks away to have a chance of avoiding a depression. If we don't make substantial gains in the next 3 weeks, we're going to have a depression. I firmly believe that, which will make investors look for stability all the more. Metals offers that stability. Do I think silver prices will rise dramatically? Yes. Do I think they're going to do it in the next 6 weeks? Probably not. By the end of the year, the factors are there to propel metals higher, substantially higher. Can I put a pencil paper and do math and come out with a range? Absolutely not. The data, like I said before, is completely not there. I hate to do a video like this where I go, I think it's going to go higher, but not offer any mathematical proof, only historical precedent in theory, and can't give somebody a range to look for. I'm not even going to try. And it's scary to me because my valuation models that I use for other assets are completely irrelevant now. So the question is, how do I value them? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. Without sufficient data, it's all academic. You can't rely on any valuation model, especially the one I've championed for the past 36 months. So, guys, my personal opinion, I'm buying silver. I'm buying physical silver. I'm not going to buy ETFs right now because things are most likely going to get real chaotic, and I definitely want to hold it in my hand. Look back at my other videos. If you're new to this channel, I'm not a silver pumper. I usually make fun of silver pumpers. By the way, before I let you go, I want to ask you a question. Over the past few years, I made fun of silver pumpers. They'll come on with some irrelevant piece of data and act like it's the end of the world. I noticed there are a lot less silver pumpers saying the sky's falling now that the sky very well may be falling. That's kind of strange. Could it be maybe the big sellers, the big hoarders of silver don't want to let their silver go? I don't know. But I noticed the people that would come on the radio talking about some Chinese solar farm that's consuming a lot of silver, it's going to drive the value of silver through some ungodly price. They're not doing that anymore. It's kind of strange that the pumpers are setting this one out when there's actually something to get on there and push silver about. And I don't usually push silver. I don't make a dime. If you sell everything you got and buy all the silver you can, I don't lose a dime if you never buy an ounce of silver. I'm just coming on here giving my honest opinion. Let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know what you think and why you think it. Please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for watching. God bless you. And remember, stay stat and pat because we need it now.